I want to point out the fact that I came to the 10,000 Steps screening to see my buddy David Ingram do his thing, and I wore the Man of Steel. I wore Superman to support him, and what did he do? He just happened to wear Amazing Fantasy 15. Kat, this is Kat, the producer of 10,000 Steps.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Finally, because we were actually aware of each other for a little while without having met directly. So thank you for taking the time to sit here and answer a few questions.
You know what's interesting is after I did the first draft, I sat back, because when you're writing something, you're very close to it, and you don't have your perspective. And I sat back and I kind of reread it, and I realized from a course I took in high school that the film was hung on the framework of accepting, the stages of dying, accepting death,
right,
with denial and with blame and anger and grief and bargaining. And I realized that Henry is confronted with his death in a very sort of bizarre kind of way.
It really spoke to me, and what it said to me was that this is such a relevant and relatable and timely piece, because there's so many people out there right now who are in our age group, who are 30-something, who feel like they should have their life set out ahead of them, they should know what they're doing, they should have this life course that they're committed to, and yet.
It is about learning the lesson of making the most of what you have left.
Exactly.
Right, and that can be a very gravitational, life-changing kind of thought.
That was the story that we decided we want to tell. When we had the idea of this guy that's given a finite amount of time left to live, or a finite number of steps, which equals a finite amount of time. It's like, well, how long is it going to take him to realize what's important?
And the fact that it's an independent project, it's not just the characters in your story that are saying, I want to take control of my life and make the most of each day. It's the filmmakers and the actors and the creative people behind it that say, this is what I want to create for my life, this is what I want to do with my life, and this is what I want to put forward.
Exactly, and even more poignant than that, which I love so much about the film, is that initially people struggle against it, and there's that struggle of not wanting to take the role that you're presented with in life.
How was it different taking a story that's your own and making it come to life compared to the experience of just getting work on a TV series that's already in existence?
The most succinct way I can put it is when I used to work on Hiccups with Brent, he was the writer, but of course every actor thinks they know their own character better than the writer.
Right.
And in between almost every take, I'd be like, hey Brent, why don't we have Taylor say this? And to his credit, he accepted all of my ideas, good and bad, and we would roll with it, and some he would use and some he wouldn't. It was weird coming into this where it was my words. Right. Where I had a notion of what this character would say and this character would say and this character would say. I was like, now, but these other actors are going to come in, talented and thoughtful It's a thoughtful twice.
It's okay, we get it.
And they're gonna have their own really good ideas.
You were able to secure some pretty high-profile sponsors to help you along the project. You had the Running Room, you had Fairmont Waterfront,
Chevy.
And Chevy. Like those were some
and
pretty big.
Club. Club. Yeah, they were honestly. I have to say the most important thing that I can possibly suggest to anybody in a creative venture and anybody looking for sponsorship and wanting to get something off the ground is 2 words. It's just ask. And that was actually given to me by Eric Am, seriously, who's my boss in a context. I'm a featured blogger at MMEclub.ca. Seriously, being able to present yourself and just to be able to value yourself and to say, hey, listen, I have a project, it's amazing, it's going to speak to your target market, but it's also really relevant. And
did you find it difficult trying to separate yourself from the material in that way? Like you were the writer, you were the lead actor, but you have to give your material over to the director, to the producer, to the other actors.
Right.
And the collaborative element of film.
Never bothered me.
No.
Surround yourself with people that are smarter and more talented than you to take credit.
Where is 10,000 Steps going to go next? What's it like? You've had your screening now in Vancouver. And you've already won an award. Let's talk about that a little bit and talk about what's the next step. What's 10,001 for
Thank you.
for this project?
We've won an award for Best Ensemble Cast for a dramedy and a short film for the Best Actors Film Festival in San Francisco 2013, which was fantastic. We really have just been doing a lot of submissions right now on the festival circuit. So we
Should we stop?
I got nothing else.
I got it.
I got nothing else.
Thank you.
But thank you for doing this. Thank you for making sure I could be here.
On the rail.
Monorail. That's the lesson we take away from this is monorail.